Hi everyone, I'm Megan and this is Beguiled by Books, a community of book lovers and word nerds. Today I'm sharing another bookish bucket list with you, and this time it's the travel edition. Let's get going. Before we take off, a quick reminder that there are links in the description below. One to sign up for my upcoming course, The Growth Library, a book-based blueprint to wisdom and well-being, and another link to all of my book club reading guides, where you can get reading guides for your next book club discussion anytime you want. They are digital downloads and available on demand. So go check those out. Now, let's buckle those seatbelts and talk about our travel edition of our bookish bucket list. Travel is such an important facet of my life. The pandemic shut everything down. We didn't travel for a good 3.5 years, and now we're back at it. We're on the road like crazy. This year, I'm sure you'll see lots of fun, different backgrounds as I'm in different locations around the world. So, where do you want to go through books? Books are some of the best ways we can travel because it allows us to visit almost anywhere in the world without ever leaving the comfort and safety of our own homes. If you've been here before, it's no surprise that I'm going to recommend we go to Nigeria through the book My Sister, the Serial Killer. One of my favorites. It is the best version of a mystery novel because it's not really a whodunit. Y'all know I don't like whodunits, but this book keeps you guessing. You never really know what's going to happen next. And I love the point of view from the sister who's watching her sister be a serial killer. Absolutely wonderfully creative plot, really compelling, and it's a short book, easy to read, easy to travel with if you want to read it while you're on the road, on a plane, at a beach, wherever. Definitely check this one out. If you're interested in Italy, specifically the Isle of Sicily, I highly recommend the book Olive Oil and Murder, a cozy mystery. It's so cute and wholesome that it overtakes my dislike of the whodunits because it's just fun. This American woman buys one of those rundown Italian homes to renovate and gets there, and of course, shenanigans and a murder ensues. So it's up to her to solve things so that she can get into her place. All of these things while dealing with the Italian culture and the American cultures coming together. It's fun, it's delightful. There's wine, there's pasta, there's olive oil, all of the things that you want from Italy, and all in the comfort of your home reading this delightful little book. If you're interested in Scandinavia, I would recommend The Year of Living Danishly. This is a memoir written by Helen Russell, who had the opportunity to move to Denmark when her husband got a job there. So she agrees to give it a year to start with, and she chronicles her year in Denmark as a Brit expat, trying to navigate this new language, this new culture, a much slower paced way of life than what she's used to in London. Really lovely memoir, well written, really fun, gives you a wonderful insight into the Danes, into their culture, and all of the fun, interesting ways that the Danish world is different from UK, from America, from wherever you are. It's delightful. It's really put Denmark on the map for a lot of people as a travel book, as a memoir. And Helen Russell, the author, ended up living there a little bit longer than a year. So definitely check that out in your next read. In Scandinavia, if you're interested in Finland, I would recommend a book called The Last Sound of Aurora. I picked this up actually at the Rovaniemi airport when I visited there in 2024, and I've been to Rovaniemi a couple of times. Love Lappish, Finland. It's wonderful. Highly recommend it. And this book is a true look at Lapland, especially in the winter. Our main character runs a luxury resort and caters to every whim and proclivity of her high-end clients. So when someone turns up dead in one of her properties, she has to deal with it without alerting authorities. And this is a really classically dark Scandinavian book. And it's also short, so it's easy to read and easy to get through, but very, very compelling. I love how real locations in Rovaniemi were used. I love the representation of the Finns. They're a wonderful culture, a wonderful group of people. I adore Finland. And this book it will absolutely make you want to move there and hopefully open the door into some of that darker genre of Scandinavian mystery and murder books. If you're wanting to travel to England, I'm going to recommend the historical fiction novel, The Dictionary of Lost Words. This book takes place when the Oxford English Dictionary was being put together. And what I like about this novel is it looks at the words that were lost, and specifically the words women used. So it's an interesting and fascinating look at not only historical Oxford, England, but also how the patriarchy has dominated our language and how so many words that are critical and important to women were deemed unworthy of landing in that initial edition of the dictionary. And the evolution of language is something I'm very passionate about. So this is really a fun book that teaches you without really realizing you're being taught about history and about the world from that perspective of language. If you're interested in South America, specifically Argentina, I would recommend the book Violeta. This book, while not one of my favorites, really did paint a beautiful picture of Argentina throughout the last several decades because it's a fictional look at a fictional character's memoir, essentially. An older woman writes about her life and the uprising in Argentina, the overthrow of the government, and her family's rise and fall during these crazy times. So it's historical fiction. It's also beautifully written, very vivid imagery all throughout the kind of lower tip of South America as her family moves, as her needs change and evolve. She gets married, she gets older. All of these things happen, and it gives you a great little trek into South America, which is somewhere that not a lot of folks end up going, at least into these more small towns and rural areas. Australia is high on many people's bucket list, and I'm going to recommend the book Tracks by Robin Davidson. I'd forgotten I had read this book as a teenager until I saw an older cover. It's, of course, been revised and updated and republished many times over the years, but Tracks is an interesting account of the author's time on walkabout in the Australian outback over the course of something like 17 or 1800 miles, where she was literally walking in the outback of Australia. It's an unforgiving environment. I have been there. I can attest to that. There's a lot of bugs, a lot of beasts that are out there. It's a wild place, but it's an account of not only her time in the desert, interacting with the indigenous Aboriginal peoples there, but also her time of self-reflection and growth and really getting clear on who she is and her values. Again, I read this as a teenager. I think I'm going to go back and reread it in the near future. I purchased it maybe 10 years ago, never read it again, completely forgot. It's such a funny story, but definitely a book that if you are interested in Australia, I would highly, highly recommend this book. What are some of your books that would fall into a bookish bucket list travel edition? I want to know, I want to read them, I want to go to new places and new countries through books. So drop a comment and let me know. If you like this video or found a book that you're interested in, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out those reading guides and sign up for the new Growth Library course coming out later this year. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day.